guys.
Hey.
This is the most chaotic pre-stream.
Not my fault.
No, certainly not his fault. All right, guys. Welcome to the 118 live stream.
118.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Today we're talking about the PTB, so 2.5.0 that was released on PC this week. With me, I have Mr. Stefan Orvat.
What's up?
Mr. Matt Walker, which is under Louis McLean because McLean is over there and he's coming over right after.
I'm not Louis McLean.
Mr. Walker is done.
Yo.
Surprise.
So,
2019.
before we jump into the PTV stuff, I want to say happy holidays to everyone.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah, I hope you guys had a really great 2 weeks without us. I know it was hard.
And a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year.
If you celebrate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, what I was saying, yeah. So thank you for our mods for joining us today. Thank you for everyone that made this stream happen. Pat, Bjorn, Justin, and our guest here from
A
Design.
little jiggle.
They're all excited.
Oh my God, this is so unruly. That's gonna be awesome. Anyways, before we start on PTV, I want to just talk a little bit about a certain podcast that we saw yesterday about
I
deranking.
didn't see it.
You didn't see it, but community team saw it. We got a lot of feedback from it. We brought it back to the team. That's all we're going to say about it today because the subject of the stream today is PTV. So,
PTV.
yeah, we're going to start about this guy. What's your subject? What are you going to talk to us about?
So, my name is Matt, not Louis, just to make sure.
Level designer.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Technical level designer at this
fair.
point.
Yeah.
We got Andre,
Yeah, we do.
so we're the team. We're the level team.
Dream team.
So I've been taking care of a lot of business, right? Recently, level design. You've seen a lot of stuff getting better, getting improved. One of the biggest things we have in the PTB is actually the change to hooks and hook offerings.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm here to clarify or to show you an illustration of how hook distribution works and how offerings will be affecting hook offerings as of affecting hook distributions as of the PTB.
Cool.
So we're trying out these new systems. It gives us a lot more flexibility and a lot more control over the procedural generation results. So,
But what is procedural generation? Like for people who don't know what it is.
for people who don't know what it is, procedural generation is essentially randomization managed through rules. So it's not just randomization; it's randomization with rules.
Okay.
Right. So that one randomization will have an effect on some other randomization down the line, and
So-
we control all of that with various rules.
So how things spawn in the map.
Yeah.
And that's going to be everything or almost everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And different objects have different rules.
Yeah.
All part of the same system.
So just to make sure that everyone was on the same page when we were talking about we're changing that and it's going to improve our game.
Quality.
Quality.
Yeah. Quality. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've already seen changes to pallets in the past and changes to hooks as well. But this is the next step.
So, as you know, previously hooks were not managed through a density or minimum distance, right?
Which is basically the closest they are. From
Yeah,
one
so
to
that's
another.
what I'm going to talk about today,
Fantastic.
is what that is and how that works. But previously we did not have that kind of control. It was just a number, and then basically that was leading to a lot of imbalances and inconsistencies.
So you were choosing a number and it was filling in some spots that were open for hooks.
Yeah, but previously even the distance between hooks weren't prescribed using a density or anything, so you could have hooks really close to each other, stuff like that.
So for players, what do players see different from what it was before in the
Well,
game now?
actually, this might be a good opportunity to get straight into the meat of the talk.
All right.
So,
Take out your
Justine,
steak
if you
knives.
could.
Oh man.
All right.
Wonderful.
So this is
What is this?
This is art. This is abstract art. Can anybody guess which map it is?
Oh my gosh.
You need to put a small lily there.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, so hold on a second. I know the color schemes here.
No, wait. Okay, nobody knows.
Well,
It's fine. Next slide, please.
It's going to take a little time for them to respond, by the way.
Here we go.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So this is the coal tower map. This is a kind of top-down view, just a couple of bémol, which means a couple of little points that I have to make. First of all, it's not the right scale, so you can see it's kind of stretched horizontally. So instead of squares, they're more like rectangles. So that's all I had to say. Okay, so this is the layout for the coal tower. As you can see, all of the different elements are there. Those are the different tiles. Next slide, please. So we don't really need to know anything about those tiles just yet. Actually, we don't need to know anything about those tiles. The only thing that's interesting to us right now is talking about hook distribution. So this is a real-world example, one example of the coal tower spawning, right? Now, every tile has hooks on it. This is, these are all the available or potential hooks in the entire map as the process begins selecting hooks.
Cool. So
Okay?
this is actually all the spawn points.
These are all the spawn points for hooks in the map.
Approximate.
So if we spawned all the actual hooks right now, it would look like
If you
this.
spawned all the hooks in the map, that's exactly
With
what
no
you get.
rule. Great.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, because people think that that's what appears in every game. No, those are the
Oh, this is the
spawn
first slide.
point.
First slide.
Yeah.
This is the first slide.
Spawn point, not necessarily
Potential
where the
hooks.
hooks are going to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
these are potential hook placements. Okay, next slide. So you see the one in green? This is the one which has been randomly selected to begin the process of placing hooks. Next slide, please. So this is the area of effect of the hook, which is what we call the minimum distance, and that's what we use to regulate which hooks spawn or not. So this green hook, as you've seen, has a minimum distance, which it will cancel out other hooks within that minimum distance.
Which is
Next
represented
slide.
by the yellow circle, right?
Next slide, yes, the circle. So as you see, this minimum distance radius has canceled out a potential hook spawning location. Next slide, please. This process is essentially repeated a few different times until all of the hooks have been selected.
We're selecting all of them right now.
Yeah, we're just going through it. So this is simulating what happens. Okay, last one. And there we go. So now this image shows at the end of the hook selection process which hooks have been eliminated due to the minimum distance rules and which hooks have been chosen to spawn. In this case, we see that we have 8 hooks which have been chosen to spawn on the map.
Is that enough? Or is that too much? Or I'm just asking. Because is it a number strict by map?
No, as you see,
Yeah.
the entire process was handled by the minimum distance between hooks, represented by the circles. Any hook that was inside the circle was eliminated as the process goes on. So 8 hooks seems like a fairly good number. Seems like everything is spread out quite nicely.
Okay.
However, there's some natural variation which you can expect to happen based on rotation of tiles and relative position of hooks and stuff like that. So it will be natural to get a kind of a variation on the number of hooks, but generally they should be spread out across the map fairly evenly to give killers opportunities to get to hooks with bodies on their backs. Okay, next slide. Now, I want to talk about what happens when you use offerings. This is the exact same slide as we saw before, but if we're using, in this case, we're going to show the example of a survivor offering. Next slide. So as mentioned in the patch notes, the survivor offering increases the minimum distance between hooks, which means the chosen hook will eliminate or tend to eliminate more hooks.
Okay.
As you can see here, there's an extra hook. Can you go back and forth 1 or 2 times?
So is there
So you see here, this
Yeah.
is before the offering, and this is after the offering. So because of the offering, we've already removed 1 extra hook. Now let's go through the process again and see what happens. So this is relatively the same.
We're going to keep in mind that we had 8 last time, right?
Yeah, we had
Keep
8
it in
last
mind.
time.
Keep it in mind. So this guy has eliminated many more. Keep going, and one more.
Okay.
There we go. So now, with the increased minimum distance between hooks, we see that what happened is that many more hooks got eliminated from the process. In this case, we're actually ending up with a total of 6 hooks instead of 8.
Okay, so if 4 survivors put each other an
So
offering,
this is one survivor, let's
Yeah.
say.
what happens with 4 survivors?
Well, the minimum distance increases.
So, and is there a minimum numbers of hooks
Yeah.
on the map? Oh, okay.
So, as
So-
mentioned-
so that
Yep.
that saves your
Yep, so
basic number. Okay.
As mentioned in the patch notes, what happens is that every map has a minimum and maximum number of hooks that it can have. This is to preserve a kind of fairness across the board. So I believe, if I'm not wrong, the coal tower has a minimum of 6 hooks.
Okay.
So no matter what happens, there will be 6 hooks that spawn. Now, how this is handled is that essentially if we finish this process and we see we don't have the minimum number, then we'll force one of the hooks to spawn.
Okay.
Oh, a question from the side.
A question. And the basement. Right. Well, basements eliminate hooks as well.
In this case, is the basement the big blue?
No, in this case, it's just like a simplified version to show
Oh.
you what happens. But
More
you
than
can
fair.
imagine another circle around the basement.
All right.
Yeah.
Basement could be in the coal tower. for
Yep.
example.
So just
What's
to
that?
yeah.
Count of 1 of 4. Oh, well, it doesn't actually count as a hook.
The basement is special.
It just denies hooks in the same way as any other hook.
Obviously, this example is what you're showing us is the purpose of an example.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the same number, minimum or maximum number for every map. It's
Nope.
not necessarily the same.
There's some natural variation there that happens.
That will naturally vary.
Let's go to the next slide. Oh, that's it, eh?
That's
All right.
it.
Well, that's pretty much how it goes. So, as you've learned, hook offerings will either increase or decrease that minimum distance, which will have a tendency to eliminate or allow hooks to spawn. The belief,
All right.
the thinking behind this is simply that you have a distribution of hooks that have a natural variation to it, so you can expect 1 or 2 or 3 hooks more or less naturally. But then when you're playing offerings, they will tend to remove hooks or tend to add hooks. But there are tendencies based on the density and not a straight removal of a number of hooks as we had in the past.
Okay.
All right.
I saw in the patch notes as well that you are now forcing hook spawns depending on where the basement is placed.
Yes. So in the Batum preschool, we had a lot of report where the school is essentially really difficult to get anybody out of once they're slugged, right?
If the basement's not down
If the
there.
basement's not
Yeah.
down there. So to handle that dead zone, we forced the hook to spawn near one of the entrances of the school to allow people to have a chance to get to a hook, even though it's maybe a relative dead
We
zone.
previously did this on the Thompson house as well, did we not?
I think we did a few patches ago. We added one to the top, but it's not forced.
Okay, because that was wonderful. It was
Yeah,
nice to
because
see.
there was the obvious people who were like crawling in the corner, and they knew that you wouldn't have the time
Mhm.
to get them to a hook. So
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
extra hook spawning spots around certain buildings.
Well,
that's what
actually,
you're-
speaking of which, the farmhouse, we added more potential hook spawns around the building, just to increase the available pool of
Yeah.
hooks.
So the density is more. It can
It's-
be a little bit more around the house or not.
It gives more possibility for hooks to spawn around the house because there are more available hooks around the
Okay.
Thompson house.
I see a lot of questions about the map, the game for hooks.
Yep.
Is there anything happening with
Yeah,
this one?
absolutely. So we have in the works right now a system where we will be scaling the distances, the distance that we calculate, like we showed you the minimum distance that eliminates hooks. These distances, the way they're calculated, will be scaled by verticality.
Ooh, okay.
So it means that we can prescribe settings that will account for
The
For
fact that
different
you have to
levels,
like go downstairs to get one, or hey, there's a hole in the
Something like that.
Okay, so
Something
I
like
can
just
get
the fact
reach
that
out.
they'll be on different heights will mean that their distance will be calculated slightly differently
Yeah.
to
Okay.
So
to
they-
allow hooks to spawn closer together.
One on top of the
even
other.
though they're kind of close to each other vertically. So it'll make it appear like they're further apart to the system.
So for us, it was a big thing to change the system for the hooks. So please give us feedback on what you think has been done,
Yeah.
and what you feel about the new hook placement.
Yep.
A little line on totem placement before we leave.
Right. So I mean, obviously, one of the big things we've improved recently was the interaction systems of the game to be a little bit more robust, mostly for totems. So previously, totems were really hard to place because if you were to put them next to a wall, they would have to be fairly far from the wall or from a corner, so that they were really hard to hide. But we've updated the interaction methods for that object, which means that we can now stick them much closer and put them into spaces, nooks and crannies, etc.
Nooks
So
and crannies.
adjust
Nooks and crannies.
the placement.
Yeah, it allows us to place them, to better place them in the environment, so to hide them better. And I don't know if I can say this, it's not in the patch notes,
Well-
but also upcoming, we're working on the whole line of sight,
Oh, can you
totem line of sight.
This is quite interesting, and I think
rules.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been asking for totem placements and for better spawning of survivors to not be able to be next to totems and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think this is actually really interesting. Would you
Yeah.
like to talk about it very shortly?
Well, it's really simple. Among other things, we have an upgrade to the totem spawning system, which is almost identical to what I showed you for the hooks.
Okay.
Right? It eliminates potential spawns, etc.
Is it considering the objectives as well? Because I saw
No,
a lot
no,
of
for now-
totems right next to a Jan, for example.
So right now, totems are really the system has problems placing totems because there are 4 survivors, and we don't want totems to be anywhere near survivors. But if you spread 4 survivors across the map, it eliminates a lot of potential spawn points. So it's a kind of natural friction that we have right now. But what we've implemented to help that is a line of sight check. So not from now on, obviously, but in the near future, what will happen is that totems will be eliminated from the spawn pool if they are visible from a survivor's spawn point.
That's a
And
great
what-
improvement.
And when
Yeah.
you say invisible, right?
Visible.
Because people are going to say, but there's a camera pan and
You
stuff, and the
always
character
say
look.
there's
I
a
know,
camera
but that's what everyone else is going to say too.
That's
so I have to
fine.
say too. So
Yeah, that's fine.
my question for you is, what does line of sight mean? From what I
So
understand,
line of sight is we're doing a ray cast, which is a technical term for we're drawing a line from point A to point B, and essentially each survivor spawn point will be drawing a line to every single totem to see which ones are visible, which ones are
yeah.
not.
So if there's an actual blocker, if I can't see it because there's like a wall or whatever, then it's safe. It will stay. But
That's
if
right.
I see it and it's within
That's
a
right,
certain
because we're
range,
using
we're
the
gonna
point
take
we're
it.
using to do the ray cast or the line drawing from the spawn point to the totem is situated somewhere above the head of the survivor,
Yeah.
approximately like the highest point that the camera can be at.
And so you're saying it's simple now to move the totems around a little bit more because
Not moving. Okay. Oh, yeah. So you're recapping. Yes.
Yeah.
So we can place them more efficiently now because they're more permissive.
because the procedural system has been changed.
No, sorry, because the interaction
Okay, there we go.
zone is more robust. But the second point, the line of sight
Yes.
rules, basically allow us to eliminate totem spawn points from the spawning pool
Perfect.
based on their visibility.
Thank you.
Based on their visibility to the survivor spawn points.
Was there anything else you wanted to bring today? 'Cause,
No, you guys are ready to go. I've gone on too long.
McLean's over there
I've
looking
gone on
at
too
his
long.
phone.
I mean, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to all the fans. Christmas was a great time. We played a lot, had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And we got so much good stuff coming. I mean, if you don't get me out of here, I'm going to spill all the beans.
Get out of here, man. What's wrong
Hi,
with you?
Matt, careful.
going.
Later, Matt.
Your mic is still on it.
Escape.
I'm stealing your stuff.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
Later, Matt.
All right, guys.
Louis, good luck.
All right, so we're gonna welcome McLean with us.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little quick break. No, I'm just kidding. We're actually
Quick break, bye.
We do this live.
We do it live.
So right now that
Unbearable.
we went over specific map changes, we're gonna go over basically everything else that was brought in the PTB. Not necessarily bug fixes, but more in terms of balance. There is a lot of feedback, a lot of questions about the changes, what do they do actually to the game right now. So do we want to start by a few known issues that we actually know about it and there are bugs and we're going to fix it and it's not
do it.
it's not intended as a
Let's do it.
okay, so first known issue, infinite loading. This has already been bugged in our system. There's a thread right now going on the forums, so you guys can give us information. And in the bug report section, and they're already working on something on this one. I'm looking at Pat, I'm like, confirm please? Yes? Okay.
There's a smile of confirmation.
Yes. There are also a few crashes, so instances of crashes. We know about that one, don't worry about it. There's a lot of audio issues, like there's been a lot of audio changes, mixers and everything, but there's still occlusion and stuff like that. We're on it. And finally, we got a lot of feedback on scratch marks, specifically since the Unreal update. So we want to know more information about like what you guys think the I don't know, like the process of the scratch mark might not work. Like what might not work right now.
Yeah, in the past we
So-
talked about having like the brightness of the scratch marks were a problem,
Yes.
the consistency of when they
Yes.
appeared, the size of them.
So,
Yeah.
and it was an issue after the first Unreal update.
Yeah.
And now we have another issue in terms of, is it the right level? What are we aiming for level for that?
Mhm.
So, so yeah, so bring us feedback on those and
We
we're
have more
Okay.
bugs written down.
We
more
do.
bugs, yes, those are specific killer bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We can go through
Do you
the
want-
discussions and then,
It just seems weird to break
Okay,
up the
you-
bugs into.
These are
Okay.
known issues. Let's go
Okay.
through them.
killer bugs specific.
Well, it's
Killer bugs.
because people have been messaging me about this one over and
Oh,
over.
okay.
I went out on Reddit this morning and answered like 5 different people who are all asking me why we nerfed Freddy.
Oh.
Ooh,
Thank you.
wow.
Is this Justine, by the way? Well, her
These are
arm.
Justine's
Her
arms.
forearms, yeah.
Is that, all right? All right.
Wow. Justine's arms are going to be the most popular character on this stream from now on.
Can we have Justine's arms in the game? I almost smacked on the table. I apologize.
Okay, so people made some extremely hilarious memes on Reddit about why did we nerf Freddy. So okay, we didn't.
We didn't.
That was unintentional.
It happened, but we didn't. That's not what we wanted to do.
Right.
Yes.
So because there was some tinkering around in Freddy, and I'll let you guys speculate as to why that is. Something unintentionally slipped through, which was a decrease to his movement speed while channeling his power. This will be fixed.
So it is a bug.
It's a bug.
It is a bug. Known issues.
We've got some issues on PTB with the Myers stock regarding walls.
The all-seeing Myers.
That'll be handled. We have like a hag camera problem.
a little too high.
Nurse mask clipping and some stuff with her post-processing.
She doesn't
You know,
actually darken. We're on it, though.
We are
so
on it.
these are things that do happen. Thank you for your feedback. These have been things that we've caught on the PTB as well as internally, so
Yeah.
we've been working on fixing these things.
So, that being said, some things that we did on the PTB worked. They were not all bugs. We have some changes that we want to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
So you'll notice that unlike earlier PTBs, some of the changes in the patch notes had like a disclaimer next to them.
It's true.
That were like, this is something wild that we're trying. Let us know what you think about it.
So what was wild for you? Are we going to go through the wild things first, or are we going to go through...
We're going to get to them when we get to where the wild things
Okay,
are.
that's fine. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you said it. I'm glad that you said it.
You were thinking it, eh?
Yeah, the whole
All
way.
right. So I picked just basically like my personal highlights that I wanted to go through.
Let's hit it.
So if you haven't carefully read the PTB patch notes, it's cool. You're probably going to get the highlights right here. The thing that stood out to me the most while reading them, pretending not to know what they already were, was the vault changes.
Yes.
We have, when you run up to a window in Dead by Daylight and you press the space bar, one of three things is going to happen, which is kind of complicated in hindsight, but that's kind of what we got. If you weren't holding shift, you're going to very slowly and quietly creep over the window, and that hasn't changed.
So we're calling it like the slow vault.
Let's call that the slow vault.
Yeah.
Now, if you were holding shift...
What is that? What is that called, though, when you're holding shift?
Oh, I don't want to get into
We're doing this right now.
problems. Okay, if you hold shift and you do a thing, any of them, we call them rushed actions.
It's true. So you can rush action into a locker.
You can rush action into a locker.
Normally, these are things that result in a loud noise notification, which is the bubble, and the killer has the understanding of where you are.
Yeah, yeah. So if you rush a window, but you didn't run at it well enough, you get a medium vault. This is the only time we have like a medium speed action in the game. It's a little bit confusing. And if you watch people stream Dead by Daylight, they're probably going to say they got a slow vault because they were angling for the really fast one, and then they got angry because they didn't
Did they
get
say
it.
it's the slow vault of death?
Or
Yes.
or you know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, Queen's like it.
Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, it's, medium vault, aka slow vault.
Which, by the way, back in the day, used to be the slow animation used for the medium vault.
You just made it even more complicated than I was going to make it.
apologize, yeah.
Anyway, this is the animation that changed. There was a change made to this type of vaulting,
The medium vault.
the medium vault. It was slightly sped up, the animation was changed, and we were using a slightly different system.
When you say sped up, just to make sure, it's 0.1 second, right?
Yes.
So, yeah,
That's a small change.
very small.
From
Yeah.
1 second to 0.9
Yeah.
seconds.
To adapt to the animation,
Yeah.
to the new animation.
And the idea was to make it feel a little smoother, to give you a little bit more momentum as you're exiting that vault. A lot of people have experienced, I'm sure, vaulting the window, your feet have landed on the other side, your man is not moving, or woman is not moving, and then you get hit through the window and you go, hey, if I had kept moving at the speed I was just moving, I probably wouldn't have gotten hit. So hopefully, that'll help with that. It's using some new vaulting technology that we developed on the Legion, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It also feels a lot better in terms of fluidity of the
Yeah.
gameplay.
So the idea for this, by the way, was not to just straight buff survivors. The idea was this is an animation that happens quite often in our game, taking vaults, taking windows, and if it feels frustrating, it's not fun for anyone. I believe that we wanted to have something that feels more smooth and accurate for what we've got for the game. This is supposed to be applied for the killers and the survivors in the end grand scheme, and ultimately the fast vault is the most efficient and best way to get away from a killer, as it pushes you further away from the window
Yep.
when you finish it.
In game, just to confuse people more, unfortunately, it's currently titled Running Vault, which is bad because you use the run button to do this, and so you press your run button in vault and not get a running vault. I regret this. This is kind of my fault.
Yeah,
Anyway, so there you go.
that's okay.
Running vault, aka fast vault.
Fast vault, yes.
Fast vault.
And then, yeah.
Okay,
All right,
we got
thank
through
you
it.
for
Wait,
specific.
but wait, there's more.
Oh, wait.
I brought a terrible video
Oh, yeah.
to compare the two. I'm sorry, guys. I did my best. This is what I came up with. Check it out.
This is the gym. This is wonderful.
Yeah. I'm afraid if we look at this too long, it might give us seizures. But that's kind of like a comparison between the old and the new.
The bottom is the new,
Medium.
Bottom's the new.
Yeah.
and the top is the old.
Yeah.
If you see the top is a little, like try to look at them separately. Don't look at them at the same time. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Top version, a little slower. It is a slow vault sped up. It looks a
Yeah.
little weird.
Yeah.
And it's not very consistent with how you were moving prior. And the bottom one, you're moving at the same speed. You're crossing the window, similar, and there's just a tiny hiccup at the end.
Actually, I was talking to a programmer about the hiccup in the new thing. It's actually a bug.
It is a bug,
It's
yeah.
a bug.
And we're looking to fix that as well. So
Yep.
it should feel really smooth when you hit the ground.
Yep.
You can keep going, and there shouldn't be a hiccup. This is going to be coming at a later date, though. I don't believe this will be going out with this patch.
I have no dates to share.
Yeah.
I have only the fact that I talked to a very clever programmer who identified the issue and said he was working on it.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Item number 2.
Thank you for the video, by the way.
You're
It's
welcome. You're welcome. Item number 2, chests. A little bit of work was done on chests in this patch.
wonderful. Yeah, and we're not talking about David King.
We're not. Hey.
No, I'm sorry.
All right.
I saw someone drinking water. It was the opportunity.
It's good stuff. That's good stuff. So in the recent event, the winter event,
Yes,
people were getting goodies out of chests.
it's true.
Goodies that they had not seen in many ages. We're talking about.
We're not talking about firecrackers.
No, we're talking about ultra rare items coming out of chests. That was done on purpose.
Yeah.
And people reacted pretty well to that. Like they wanted to go over to chests and see what they might find. I think I felt a lot of excitement from players
Maps
about
were found, keys.
They were looking for party starters.
looking for party starters. Instead, they just got this useless key. But whatever, it's cool. It's fun. So we took another look at the rarity distribution in chests. Well, I mean, I say we. It was you. You did it.
For the base game.
Yeah.
You helped. You helped.
I helped. And then we brought that into this patch, which means that the rarity distribution in chests has been changed permanently. So it's not just for events. It means that you can go over to a chest and there will be a chance, a small chance. I don't think we're even going to reveal what the chance is today, but there's a small chance
No
to pull
chance.
ultra rare stuff.
No chance to reveal it, but there's a chance for it to happen.
Stop confusing it.
Damn, now I'm confused. Okay, so there is now a chance to pull ultra rares out of chests, and I think this is a good time to make a slight diversion into spicy upcoming changes.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to let you take it away, though.
Okay.
Only
Fine.
because you mentioned it the earlier, but I do want to start it.
Okay, so right now, when you approach a chest, you might approach it with two different sets of probabilities,
Oh, interesting.
depending on whether or not you are running the perk.
Plunderer's
Plunderer's
instinct.
instinct.
Okay,
Yes,
we were
thank
saying it
you.
together. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
This is a general perk, by the way.
Yeah, Plunderer's Instinct will increase the chances of getting good stuff out of a chest.
Increases the rarity.
Yeah. Now, we've often talked about what we wanted to do with luck,
Yeah,
which is kind of a neglected stat in Dead by Daylight.
absolutely.
So,
Luck currently increases your chance to be able to jump off a hook
yeah,
or get out of a bear trap.
Yeah.
We'd like to
we ought to
explore the
expand it.
space.
I mean, once upon a time it affected skill checks, but that's long gone.
That was once upon a time.
Yeah. So, the way that luck will affect chests in the future,
Yeah.
yet again, I'm not here with dates, just
No dates.
plans, is that certain thresholds of luck will get you into new rarity distributions in your chest. So you bring enough luck, you're going to start getting higher quality chests with better stuff in them.
Yeah.
So you get better chances of finding good stuff in
That
chests.
includes offering and
That includes
anything perks.
offerings, perks that increase your luck.
So
and
up the ante.
Yeah.
It's Plunderer's Instinct. It's Salty Lips.
Yeah.
It's the chalk.
Yeah.
Salt.
Statuette.
All that fun
Also.
stuff. Yes. And the idea being that would have different chest rarities achieved by using different luck items and combining them together.
Yeah.
You might even see different rarities of chests by default in the game, but that's what we're exploring.
Oh, like a golden chest that has like by default
Whoa,
or something like that.
Mad left. What's wrong with you?
Okay. So what else? Oh yeah, I had a little note here about audio fixes and volume mixing.
Yes.
I'm not even the expert on that. I just know, based on the feedback I've been getting, this is something people care about a lot.
Yep.
And so we care about it a lot. So there are changes in the PTB to improve audio and volume mixing.
So we'll be sending out a
Survey.
survey on Friday. There will be specific questions about audio mixes, separating every source of audio in the game, so you guys can pay attention and say, well, you know, chase is too loud, or this is too low, or footsteps are. So you guys can give us feedback on that, and then we'll bring that back to the audio guys, and they'll look at it again.
We'd love to hear from you.
I have another bullet point here.
He's got more.
Oh my goodness. All right, so hashtag Year of the Pig. We buffed the pig.
We buffed the pig.
This has been a long time coming. We've wanted to get this in, I think, for quite some time.
You buff the pig, but yet you expand the terror
I
radius. How
knew-
does that work?
I knew that was going to come back.
Yeah, well, I'm asking the question. I'm playing the devil's advocate
That's
here.
wonderful. What do you mean?
You know?
What do you mean that?
A lot of that is to put some more consistency. We would like it that when you are listening to the heartbeat, you are getting relevant information. If every killer starts having different, slightly different terror radiuses,
Like 4 meters of a difference.
yeah, the usefulness of the information that you're getting is greatly diminished. So what we have now, or what we're moving rather towards, is something where we are adjusting the terror radius to be more of a reflection, usually, usually more of a reflection of the character speed. So
4.6 meters a second in this case.
Yeah. So pretty much all of our 4.6 meter characters have this
32 meter range.
32 meter radius.
Tear radius.
So that when there is a different tear radius, it's probably going to be more of like a 24 or a 16, something that is noticeable and meaningful,
Yes. Like Myers.
like Myers. Myers, a whole lot of Myers' identity is in this lower tear radius. The pig, and we like the fact that the pig is a stealthy character. Her stealth comes from crouching.
Yeah.
not-
We did add a faster fade
Yes.
to her tear radius,
Yes.
to, as well as increasing her range of her tear radius, but this should be an overall gain, net gain for how quickly the tear radius is disappearing, which allows for more grabs out of crouch,
Yeah.
and allows you to perhaps trigger things that you would have not been triggering otherwise with your tear radius.
So, yeah, the pig.
The pig. Oh, so we want to talk about the actual changes.
Oink.
Oink, oink. Is it?
Yeah, I guess for those who don't know, yeah, so we'll run through the changes real fast.
Yeah. So we might have mentioned that we changed the add-on, the combat straps first, which might have been a mistake. We should have said that we reduced
Yeah.
how quickly, or no, we increased how quickly she crouches.
Yeah.
Let's use the right words.
So before the patch,
Yeah.
in the game, it would take 2 seconds to crouch or uncrouch.
Yeah.
There was an add-on called Combat Straps.
Which is a common.
It was common, and it was unusually strong, I guess, or unusually swingy for a common,
Super duper.
because it would have the time required,
Down to 1 second.
down to 1 second,
For
to
those
crouch
who
or
don't.
uncrouch, opening up a completely different play style.
Yeah.
Or depending on your perspective, closing off a playstyle if you didn't have it, depending on whether you're a glass half full or glass empty or throw the glass on the ground kind of guy.
More
So yeah, so instead what we did is we brought the baseline down, so it's 1.3 seconds instead of 2.
Yeah.
And the effect of combat straps will now remove that 0.3 seconds to bring it to 1 second. So you could say that combat straps was nerfed, but it wasn't, because the end result, if you put combat straps on, is the same as before.
Yeah,
Only
but-
now, if you don't have it, you'll be better off.
Yeah, and it's more similar to what a common would be at
Yeah.
this point versus what it was before.
I suspect it's still good, and that people who are going to be working on this might still want combat straps, but pigs won't be having such a miserable time without it if you're used to that playstyle.
Yeah, hit us up if the combat straps are still useful for you,
Yeah.
or if they're just irrelevant at this point.
Another piece of feedback we've gotten about the pig for a long time was her point gain,
Long time. Deviousness.
deviousness.
Yes.
So that has been increased. Hopefully that'll work out for you
Yeah,
guys.
so you get more from initiating the dash and for successfully hitting.
Yes. Okay, I think we're getting into it now.
We're getting into it. Oh, the
yeah.
fun stuff.
Okay.
The fun stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Do you want to start with this and
This?
yeah?
Okay. Okay. So on the PTB, there is a new version of self-care. This was a contentious change. I would say it was controversial even in the office. So the change is as such. Old self-care says that you unlock the ability to heal yourself at half speed.
Yeah.
The new self-care says you unlock the ability to heal yourself,
But.
then all of the healing that you do
Mm.
has a 25% speed penalty.
Yeah.
So you heal yourself and others at reduced speed,
75%.
75%, or minus 25%,
Or minus 25%,
depending how you
about
want
that glass again, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? One of the pros, one of the things in favor of this change was that it was making people reevaluate this perk and think about it and possibly shake things up. But a lot of people also didn't like the new gameplay, or they were afraid, since this is a very popular perk, if everybody was forced to use this version, what effect would it have? Would it tank the altruistic nature of survivors and so on? So we had an interesting discussion about this recently and thought, well, we do like the new version. We also don't want to take away the old version. So a decision was made, rather, we're not going to put this version of self-care out live
It's true.
in this patch.
So in this PTB, the one that you saw, the self-care version that you've seen, will not be going live
No,
with this release.
well, with this release.
But
But,
there's another dot.
yeah, what we would like to do is bring this in as its own perk in a future release,
As what? For like another character or something?
as a general pool perk.
As a
That-
general pool perk.
Yeah.
That's a maybe, right?
It's nothing is set in stone yet.
Nothing
We're
is set in
keeping
stone.
you up to date where we are. This is what we said. This is where we are right now.
Things change all the time.
We're not putting it live as is. What we would like to do right now is put it live in a future release as a general pool perk. Maybe the numbers will be different. We don't know. But we like this idea.
Yeah, the idea would be to give people the option as to which kind of self-care they would run, much similar to how exhaustion perks can all be used differently in a build. You wouldn't necessarily use the two of them together. Actually, self-care and this other self-care put together would make you heal super slow, so probably a bad idea.
Don't stack them.
Yeah, but you could, you know, if you want to do perk roulette and have some fun.
But the thing that is very sure for us right now is that this version that you saw on the PTB is not coming live.
Yeah.
That's the only sure thing right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
things are subject to change. This is also why this is one of those items on our list that was marked in the PTB as something that was subject to change or be removed. Mind you, we have looked at the Reddit and we have seen it online where people are saying, "Oh my God, this is great. Oh my God, I would hate this."
Yeah.
So,
We got a lot of
yeah.
strong reactions on both ends of the spectrum about this one.
So thank you for your feedback.
Speaking of strong reactions on both ends of the spectrum, there were some Legion changes.
His segues are great.
Yeah, there were some Legion changes in the PTB. The biggest of which was a change to where the deep wounds timer starts when you injure a injured survivor.
Yeah,
So we're not going to go forward with that one.
we're pulling the change.
Yeah, so that one's going to get yanked.
So both of the changes we were testing in the PTB right now, we're not going through with them.
No.
By that you mean the self-care and the
They were under testing.
Yeah.
You know.
So we looked at that and we thought, well, I suppose what it does do is it satisfies the criteria of trying to make it so that survivors care if they're injured versus
wanna heal,
Legion,
basically.
right? Because this is kind of the initial, like, why did we do this in the first place? Well, a lot of the initial feedback was it doesn't matter if you're injured, people are never going to heal, like, it's kind of
and
boring.
that idea was actually an idea coming from the community
Yep.
that we tried out
like,
on
all right,
PTB, and
let's-
now
Let's try it, and
Yeah.
we're not satisfied with the results of that.
Yeah.
I think we watched a few too many videos of people just getting like double tapped with it, and we're like, oh, well, okay, well.
Just a few.
So that one's not going through, but we have not finished working on the Legion. There's still things to do to get this character where we would like it to be. So do stay tuned for further changes on this character. It's not going to be this change.
I mean, this change.
Yeah. So yeah, those were the two things I think that we're yanking out of the PTB. I can't think of any others off the top of my head that we were reverting.
There are other changes that we're looking to do, but it's more text changes and little bug fix for the other things that are in there. But they're not removing stuff.
There may be more
It just
changes.
fixes different
There may be
stuff,
more
yeah.
changes between PTB and live.
Yeah.
Like we're hoping to fix as many of the bugs that have come up as possible.
Such as, well, there is the exhaustion status effect on
Oh,
it.
that's a good known bug that didn't come up
Yeah.
yet. We know about it.
We know it's not intended.
Yeah.
Exhaustion should be reset on hook. I know this is a contentious change as well that we had done back in the day, but this was not desired for this time period to make it so that exhaustion is not reset.
yeah.
So,
Hiding killer perks in the tally screen.
what year is it? Jesus.
So
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Yeah. You,
the feature was requested back in 2016.
Yes.
We grabbed that number and we flipped it upside down, and now here we are. It's 2019. We got it.
What's up, guys?
Killer perks
We
are
made it.
not shown in the tally screen until the match is over.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen some people say that, this sucks as a solo player.
Okay, I can tell you that much. I play mostly solo games. It sucks, but at the same time, it's for the greater good of the entire team.
Greater good.
Same. I
Greater
play
good.
solo more than anything else.
I
For
would
me, it's a
like
loss.
for my own personal
Yeah.
interest to know what the killer was running,
Yeah.
but
Maybe
it's
if
for the better.
we
the
get
bigger-
players to sign a waiver that says, I will not share this information with anybody else, and then you're allowed.
Actually, there was an idea. People on the forum were like, "Hey, it would be nice if, while you queue as solo, then you can see it and then
Yeah.
move on." But right now, it's not a possibility for us because we're not flagging people as solo or groups.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
even if we were, it's not a rock solid solution. Communication channels still exist in this world outside the game.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, what else?
It's
Highlights.
those cans and strings again, isn't it?
Cans and strings. Speaking of highlights, surveillance no highlight at the beginning of the game. I'm actually not sure what that note means.
Because the first version of the patch notes had a little sentence at the beginning of the surveillance description.
Surveillance is active at the start of the match.
Yeah, that was saying that surveillance was active at the start of the match, and everyone was like, well, I don't see any like white auras. But it was a mistake in the patch notes, and we just wanted to make sure that it was understood. It was not a change to the perk. It was just a mistake in the patch notes.
Can't regress 0.
Yeah.
So big thing with surveillance is going over the changes. It's going to increase the audio range where you can hear the actual generators. So normally you can hear them within 16 meters. Now they'll be like 24 meters. So this should be a lot more audible to a killer. And that is happening from the beginning of the game. You don't have to kick a generator to get this effect. That is happening at the very start. After that, once you start regressing the generator, it will turn white. And then when it's finished regressing, it will turn yellow for a period of time. Now, for those of you at home who know about discordance, right? Discordance also turns the generator yellow, but when there's 2 people working on it. Now, if you're following, the only time that it can be yellow is that after it's been worked on. So these 2 perks will overlap a little bit, but they give you the same information. So.
Yellow means generator being worked on.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Even I can remember that.
But you guys don't
Thank
know
you,
all the
Madeline.
perks and all the numbers by heart?
I used to.
Did I screw up the
There's
numbers?
so many.
Oh.
Okay, prove thyself. Now this one's, I'm
Yes.
hearing a lot about this one. So there's a lot of confusion running around currently about the change to prove thyself.
Prove thyself, leader, like what the actions are doing, what is it?
Dwight.
Does it stack?
Dwight.
Does it?
Okay.
So,
Do you want to take away what prove thyself does? Or-
Absolutely. Let's do this. So prove thyself. So first off, we changed Dwight's 2 perks, Prove Thyself and Leader. These 2 perks were buffing either Dwight himself, depending on how many people were around him, or buffing the people around Dwight, I believe, right? That's pretty
Yes.
much as straightforward as it is. We have changed the perks themselves so that Prove Thyself is now affecting Repair, and Leader is affecting
Everything
the
else.
all the other actions with the exception of Repair.
when you're saying all the other actions, does that include vaulting?
Oh, Jesus. No, I don't think so. It used to, back in the day. I think we changed I think due to the way that we changed the vaults, it might end up happening that stuff like Resilience, Prove Thyself, or Leader that used to affect the vaulting is no longer affecting vaulting. Of course, with the
Okay.
changes that we've currently done, I believe that they won't be affecting vaulting at all.
Can we eventually verify that it's still affecting or not?
It's an interesting topic because these were effects that were never meant to modify vault speed. These things all happened essentially as happy accidents.
So how do we end up finding out that this was actually happening?
Well, people told us.
That's true.
Because the text on these perks said, this speeds you up when you do X, Y, and Z. And then somebody else went along and did vaulting, which was not one of those, and realized, hey, this is making my vault faster. And we looked at that and said, yep. And we identified the issue that was letting that happen. We said, yep. And then we took a look and said, would it be improving the game to fix this right now? And we sat around and looked at it and thought, no, not really. This is, I guess, an example of tech that we thought was good for the game. So we left it.
Yeah.
We weren't going to start shouting from the rooftops, hey, this thing does this. Didn't want to emphasize the fact.
We did
but
write it in the perk. Like Resilience has vaulting in the perk. So if it's
Yes.
not working right now, it will be a bug. Just to be straightforward.
Fair
But
enough.
is leader supposed to affect it?
The leader's numbers got real big now, to the point where it
25%.
may no longer be safe
Viable.
or cool. It might be toxic or bad. So we'll have to get back to you on that one when we've
Okay.
made a call.
But Spine Chill, Resilience, and our other flavorful perks that do that might regain the ability to
Yeah.
do so. That
Okay.
it is to be determined.
Well, if resilience has vaulting in the description,
Yeah.
that would be a bug.
Yeah.
But then you guys will have to decide if you still want the perks to affect the vault.
I would expect resilience to be put back the way that it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be fun, a little bit of a fun bonus to your vaulting.
And Spine Chill?
And Spine Chill, if these are broken, they should be fixed. The uncertainty is with the new leader with its bigger numbers,
Yeah.
might not be safe.
So,
Okay.
we covered the vaulting?
Yeah. So can we go
Fantastic.
back to prove thyself?
Of course.
Because
We
that
never
one is a
left.
bit
We never left. So,
Yeah.
intense.
Prove Thyself. Can we talk about the the action speed debuff, or the, not the action speed, but the efficiency debuff?
Go
when
ahead.
You're working co-op on a generator?
Co-op efficiency penalty, or however. I don't think we have the proper name. I think we have about three names running around that we call this thing by.
Yeah, the co-op efficiency debuff.
When more people are working on a generator, each person is a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Such that if 2 people are on a generator,
Mm-hmm.
each one has minus 10%. So it's not a big difference. It means that they are doing 180% instead of 200%.
So that's why when 2 people get on the generator, your bar becomes red.
Yeah.
Now.
Because
Okay.
you personally are going at 90%.
Perfect. Okay.
So this feature, we've talked about it before, wasn't working. So we fixed it.
Yeah.
This thing bounced around in the patch notes a few times. It was supposed to be under bug fix. I haven't seen
Balance.
which.
It's under
It
bug
went under,
fix.
went under bug fix?
Yeah.
Because we were like, well, it's a fix that affects the game bounce.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I went back and forth a few times.
It's
Anyway.
always been in the game. It's just fixed from a previous bug.
Yes,
Mhm.
it broke. Now it's fixed. So it seems really dramatic, but
Mm.
if you are repairing a generator by yourself, it doesn't change the game. If
No.
you are repairing 2 people on a generator, you each get slowed by 10%.
Yeah.
If you have 3 people on a generator, you'll now notice probably a difference, that you'll be going slower.
But even then, since you're 3 people on the generator,
You're still
it's
faster overall than-
Still faster than one person,
Than
it's
one
just
person.
slower than it was before, because
Yeah.
everyone's going at
So
70%.
now that's clear,
Yeah.
we jump on prove thyself.
Prove thyself, right, so it's coming in,
Yeah.
and it's let's say, almost canceling out the
Efficiency
penalty.
debuff.
Right. So let's just put it this way. Let's compare to the previous patch. If you put on Prove Thyself, and you go and you do a generator with your buddies, you are not doing it any faster than you were in the previous patch.
So the perk was not doing anything to it. Oh no, you mean if everyone on your team's playing prove thyself and gives the buff to other people?
Well, it doesn't stack on itself.
Okay.
So Prove Thyself, you can only have one instance of,
You mean the new one?
the new one.
We should talk about the old one.
Old one, okay. No, in fact, let's say that you were using Prove Thyself old. Yeah, okay. Let's take a situation where you have 3 people, and they're all using Prove Thyself on the previous patch and this patch that's on the PTB. The people on the PTB are going to be repairing slower, not faster,
With prove thyself.
with Prove Thyself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that.
Seeing as we fixed the multiple repairer efficiency issue, they are now going to be doing it slower than they were before. So so we've seen immediately everybody jumped on to the social media and wrote, "Oh my goodness, it's Gen Rush time." I was like, no, it's now slower than it was before. And between PTB and live, there will be some issues straightened out with new Prove Thyself that'll actually slow it down a little bit more compared to what
Yes.
it is on the PTB.
Yeah, so there was issues where, so right now what Prove Thyself does do, for those of you at home, for each other person working on the generator, other than yourself, everyone who would be working on the generator would get a bonus to their repair speed. Now, if that means that there are 3 other people other than myself and I'm the person who's using the perk, it means that everyone's getting a 30% increase
But
to their
you-
repair speed, including me.
Including you.
Yeah.
So it's.
So everyone's getting a 30% increase because naturally, using the repair efficiency debuff, everyone's getting a negative 30% efficiency, right? Now these don't cancel each other out; they get really close, right?
We could fudge the numbers so that it
Okay,
cancels out
I think a lot of
perfectly.
people
We
are
could.
confused. Can we rewind and
Yeah.
try to have it? So you're repairing a generator alone without a perk.
Yep.
You're
How long
working-
does that take?
It's going to take you 80 seconds, unless you
80
get skill
seconds.
checks, of course.
Yeah.
2 people together with the new debuff on co-op action.
44.4444 repeating.
44.4 seconds.
Okay,
believe.
44.4. So it's still an advantage to work 2 on a generator.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
3 people together on a generator.
Jesus.
Basic.
I don't remember. 30 something.
It used to be 26 some odd, now it's going to be like 33 some odd.
So, okay, so it's slower than the previous patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 people working on a generator with prove thyself on.
It will be almost the same 20-something seconds that it was before.
Okay, a little bit
Yeah.
slower
Uh,
than
yeah.
what it was before,
Yeah.
as 3 people together. Okay,
So like, yeah, we looked at the numbers and we're like, do we want this to completely cancel out the efficiency penalty? And we didn't really want to push it further. I can't rule out the fact that we might do it at some point just for the sake of consistency. What that would mean is that if you throw Prove Thyself on and you go and you do multiple person repair, you'll see a neutral bar saying, hey, you are not being slowed down by the fact that you are doing a multiple person repair. It's not there yet, so it currently doesn't quite cancel out the penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, you can get a total of 30% increase maximum when using Prove Thyself, even if everybody's running Prove Thyself and all working on the same generator.
So
and that's not counting toolboxes, if killer runs Tenantophobia, any ruin action, anything else. We're just talking about that specific perk.
Yeah.
But you can trust your bar color. If your bar color is red, that means that you personally are repairing at less than 100% speed. If your bar is yellow, that means you personally are repairing at more than 100% speed. So if you and your buddies are all on the generator, your bar is red, you know that means you're not doing it like, I just want to reiterate how you are not repairing faster than you did in a previous batch.
Yeah. Okay. With that being said, though, there have been videos that were taken on the PTB. Should we say the man?
Say whatever you want, my friend.
Taller Toast?
Taller Toast?
Yeah, Taller Toast had put up a video.
Shout out to Taller Toast.
To Taller Toast. And he had shown that you can just destroy generators. I think it took about 14, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
There was a bug with Prove Thyself and the percentage that was being applied to you when you were using a toolkit, which was knocking you even above the amount that you should be getting. So the actual speed will be lower, and it should not be higher than what you can currently get on live.
So that bug is going to be fixed before it's out on live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, we're working on that.
That's a lot more clear now.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into it, but yeah, there's a bug with Prove Thyself on the PTB where it's affecting other modifiers essentially.
Okay.
So it's multiplying things incorrectly. It's not supposed to. So so if you were trying to check out and push the limit of what was possible on the PTB, you'd probably stack as many repair speed modifiers as you could. And Prove Thyself was interacting with those in an incorrect manner. It's not going to do that once it hits live.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a 4-minute left. So is there anything else you guys want to add on the PTB? Guys, in chat, we're talking PTB today. That's the main discussion. So that's why these guys were here with us.
I got through my bullet points.
You got through.
Yeah, we had leader last, but we talked about the fact that it's not including vaults. Other than that, if you stand within range, you increase other people's actions.
And it's not including generator repairs.
No repairs are included in that.
Perfect.
In leader.
All right. So just to sum it up.
Well, we had a couple of questions, but we kind of answered them as we went along. We had a question about the fact that this is a very strong Legion buff that was included in the PTB, and questions about counterplay. What can you do about this change? Which is in fact the very same question that we asked ourselves and decided that we didn't want to go forward with said change.
Well put.
There was another question about the amplified effects of self-care.
Yep.
And we had asked ourselves the same question and decided we're not currently going forward with this version of self-care. And a question about survival rates, which is always a really interesting question, but I didn't bring enough stats on survival rates to make any strong points. So we'll have to leave that for next
Another time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming here and clarifying everything for us today. I hope that helped, guys. So apart from this, just mentioning again, going over announcements, mentioning again Hotofu's podcast from yesterday about D-ranking. We watched it. We brought back feedback to the team, and obviously that's for now all we can say about it. Thank you guys for
Thank you, Gab.
for explaining everything.
My pleasure.
And I think the main point is the 2 tests that we're doing in the PTB right now, they're both not going live.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more that we said, but you can watch the VOD.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who helped us as well.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.